Hello everybody and welcome to this new video. This is Roby. In this hopefully quick video, I will try to clarify a few of the basic features of our new library called Riffendium. First of all, Riffendium includes 44 loops. These 44 loops are 44 recordings of guitar parts, which have been also chopped and sliced in order for Riffendium then to work them with its engine, in order for you to randomize them and edit them. But basically, when you recall one of the 44 loops, you're just recalling the guitar pattern. You're not recalling any effect, pedals, or delay or reverb settings. So whatever setting you have at the moment you are loading a new loop, they will stay the same. So let's see, for example, I have a flanger, an equalization, and a delay going on, and then I change the loop preset. These settings will remain the same. This setting will only be saved and recalled when you load a new snapshot. So basically, when you have a sound that you like, the first thing you should do is always to save a new snapshot, so those settings will not be overwritten. But then, when you want to flick through all the different loop presets that we have, as I said, those settings will stay the same. So, for example, if you load the first snapshot, this snapshot comes already with flanger, delay, and some reverb on. Whenever I change to, let's say, old timer, these settings will stay the same. So bear in mind when you, for the first time, opening Riffendium, that you're not listening to a preset or a snapshot that is very heavily affected, like one of those on this category or the experimental one, and then just change the loops and think, oh wow, this Riffendium sounds always the same. So that's one thing. The only thing that this loop preset will also recall is the settings of the speaker cabinet emulation, and it will recall the exact speaker simulation that is related to the amp that has been recorded with, only if this button is on. So let's see, if this button is on, when I change loop preset, you see that the speaker cabinet has changed as well. But if this button is off, whatever loop preset I'm using, the speaker emulation will always stay the same. When the match cabinet is off, it doesn't mean that the speaker simulator is off. It just means that Riffendium will keep the same speaker cabinet emulation for any loop preset that you load, unless you are loading a totally different snapshot. Another thing, if you don't want to use a speaker cabinet, you can just go down here and select no cabinet. And so every loop preset you are going to load from now on will have no cabinet, unless you switch this on again. Now, another thing, the double tracking. Let's go to this snapshot, 80 power chord, and at the moment it sounds like that. If I want to switch the double tracking on, it will sound like this. And you can hear big difference there. If you want to edit the sound of the main guitar and the sound of the double tracked guitar, you have this button at disposal. If the button is off, then you're actually editing the main guitar. So I can change the simulation for this, the cabinet type and the low pass, high pass filter. And if the button is on, then all these parameters will be related to the double tracked guitar. Similarly, when I am using the pedals, we have like a clone of this button over here. So that's exactly a duplication of the same button. So they act the same way. But when I select main, the distortion, the flanger, and the equalization will affect the main guitar, but when I select double, they will affect the double track guitar. So for example, the sound at the moment is like this. Let's put a distortion only on the right side, which is the double track. So I can put this rats thing. You can hear the difference there. Another good thing to know is actually that if I am selecting the main guitar and I am clicking this link here, or this one, or that one, whatever selection I will make on the main guitar, whatever parameter I change, it will be changed also on the double track guitar. So let's select the S10 here and let's put the volume like that. then you see that the same settings are reflected in the double track guitar. That's a useful thing if you want to just edit both guitars at the same time. To switch the double tracking feature off, just click on this button and you will only hear the main guitar now. Another trick, which is a bit hidden on purpose, is that if you are like in a heavily affected snapshot like this one, and you want to quickly get to a kind of initial state of the patch, you just press here on the M, and you see that Riffendium will say master, step, and convolver effects reset completed. And also the cabinet is off and match cabinet button is off. At that moment, you can choose whatever speaker you want, or just press the match cabinet and get the original speaker that has been used when the guitar part was recorded and take it from there. Another useful thing is this option menu over here. This works at the master level. When this option menu is set on reset, like at the beginning when you open up Riffendium, it means that whatever setting of sync and of master pitch you have at the moment, whenever you load a new loop preset, those settings will be reset to default. So when you open up Riffendium the next time, Riffendium will remember this setting, unless you select keep. At the moment, whatever parameters you have changed there, they will be kept whenever you change the loop preset. And as I said, these settings will remain next time you open Riffendium. One more thing about the loop preset is that whenever you recall one of them, you will see that the loop preset doesn't recall any new memories. Those new memories are only available when you load a new snapshot. Whenever you change the loop preset, no new memories come with that loop preset that you selected. So basically, if you just load one of those, you will see that nothing is changing here, unless, of course, you change them yourself. And remember, whenever you like one of your edited sequence, just save them straight away on one of the 8 available locations here. So you can just simply load them again very quickly. And also you can load them again via Keyswitches over here. Now, another thing that could be like overlooked is the possibility to play Riffendium with the keyboard instead of triggering it with the DAW. If you press this button over here, you will see that yellow keys are appearing over there. If you find them to be a little bit too low in the range, you can actually change their position very easily using this value edit over here. Now, if you change the range so that it goes on top of these areas over here, then that's what happens. So basically, in between the colored areas, you will just be able to play the actual key switches. Let me find them now. Where are we? Here. But if you go beyond those areas, then you can still play the pitches and the actual key switches. Now, this is useful in presets like this one, in which you can actually put it a little bit closer so I can play with 2 hands. And this value here just tells you how many key switches there are. And it's useful in presets like this one. You know where you stand with all your key switches. So basically, I can put this one there, and since I'm video recording this, at the moment I have a lot of latency, so it's quite difficult to play in real time. But in a normal situation, it's quite easy. Okay, so let's, for example, just load this one. Bear in mind, to access this mode, you press this keyboard over here, but then to play in this mode, this panel needs to be kept visible. So with these yellow keys, you can actually play single slices that are available for each loop. You see that they actually last for the same amount of 16th notes that are written in each articulation. So the first articulation will be, it's called duo, and the duration is 4. It's duo because you hear just da-da, da-da, da-da. Then you have duo, and then 1, 1, 2, 3. So basically you can just select a E here and just do a rhythm that you want. Another cool thing is that you can reduce the length of each slices by accessing this menu over here and adjusting a little bit these knobs over here. So if this value is around here, and I can use more fade out for the slice, you see that this changes, it gets really short. If you are all like me, you never read manuals, and you surely don't read this info over here, which actually are very helpful. You will notice that in some of these loop resets, like for example this one, if I press below 100, I have a major third interval, which sounds like this. Well, if I press over 100, I have a second interval. If I press on the red area over here, a minor third interval. If I press over 100, I have an augmented fourth. Then in this violet area, I have a fourth, then sharp 5, and then here I have fifth, and over 100, sixth. So I could do things like and you have this available also in other loop presets like double stops. And you can see you have basically the same intervals, but of course the sound is different. And in a few more, you have major chords, major 7th, minor, minor 7th, and sus4 chords on the blue area. Not all the loop preset come with all this variation, and as I explained in a few forums, is that we tried to be true to the actual guitar performance, and sometimes it didn't really feel right to have some 7th chords in a loop like grunge. Like if we have this kind of performance, I wouldn't see this with an augmented 9th or 13 chord. It's more like a punky thing or grungy thing. So we included this kind of chord, which is a 34th chord, and a major E minor shape. If you know a little bit about guitar, there are some open strings chords like E minor, A major, D major, and so on. So basically, when you use a bar chord using the shape of the E minor and you transport this bar chord all over the keyboard, that's what we have done. So we started with E minor and then gone through all the semitones until, yeah, G minor, which basically really we couldn't get any higher than that. And then also I think you have B flat major shape, so the same thing as before, and the E major shape. So if you wanted to play a E major, and then you want to play still the E major, but on the, which is like 7th fret of the guitar, it would sound like that, because we are using this B flat major shape, which many people know as the A major shape, but this is with the bar chord, so basically it's the same shape transported through the neck of the guitar. Another cool thing that I can show you is if we go to this menu over here, we have this little feature here called Show in Sequence. My Edit Sequence button is on, so I can see the articulation sequence over here. When this menu is set to the duration, these numbers over here are showing the duration of the actual slice. I can edit this number. For example, if I want to make this duration shorter, put it now 4. Now, the slices is 4/16 long, not anymore 6/16 like it was before. And the slice displays this E, which means edited. So now when I play, you see this slice only lasts 4/16. I can also make it even shorter if I need to. I don't need to now because it's just going out of sync, and I can place it back again. And this slice can be up to 1.5 times only. And you can use it only on slices that basically like long notes or long chords that you can actually stretch a bit. It could be useful in patches like, let's see, this one. So I make it longer. So basically it kind of stretches it a bit up to 1.5 times, not more than that. Otherwise it starts sounding a bit awful. Another thing I can do, I can go back to this menu and choose Start, Sample Start. So now it's very useful in slices like this one, which actually, if I play it, you have a slide here going on. But if I wanted to eliminate the first note of the slide, I can just reduce this slice and take away the first 2/16 notes. So basically the slide is not anymore there. I can put it back by putting this number to 0. So also in patches like this one, for example, I can just eliminate the first note by reducing of 1/16 note. So the first note is not anymore. Of course, if this slice is only 2/16 notes long, if I try to reduce its beginning by a number which is bigger than 2/16, Riffendium will say, no way, I don't want to do it. And so it will bring it back to the original state of 0. One more thing, let's get something like this one, which is one of the less flamboyant presets, but it's the one that, in my case, it gets used the most because it's very useful as well. It's quite nice. I can go to this menu and select pitch instead. And now these numbers will not anymore display the duration or the sample start of each slice, but the pitch. So basically I can pitch this one 2 semitone higher. So I can do like bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Actually bum 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 should be 1 semitone. Bear in mind that this is not a real pitch transposition in the sense that it doesn't transpose the slice, but actually Riffendium, knowing that it set this parameter to 1, will pick the sample which is 1 semitone higher. So if I'm pressing this C here, Riffendium in this slice and in that slice will pick a C sharp over here. So the sample that we'll play will be a C sharp. Now, if you are selecting this note, which is the last note available, then basically we are asking Riffendium to play a sample which is not available. So you will not hear any note. And I repeat, because this is not a transposition, it is just telling Riffendium to pick a different sample from the available ones. So if I am in this case, I will be able to select some samples that are lower. And also one more thing that I probably should have said earlier. Whenever we want to change from one note to the next, we have to play like a real guitar player would, which is change the chords in between notes. If we play like a keyboard player would, which is play the correct notes at the right time, then we kind of miss the point of trying to be real to how a guitar player would play. If you are changing a position from the 7th fret to the 3rd fret, you need to be thinking of that change before the chord on the 3rd fret needs to happen. Otherwise, you'll be late. So basically, I have to do the same thing. Like when I want to change from the E to the C, I cannot 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 now, because I will be late. Just right at the edge before the new sequence comes. So I'm on E. And now. So you also hear that this fret noise happens where it should happen, which is just a little bit before the chord, the next chord happens. Good thing to know also is that if I just select this menu over here, I can just select any of them. I can click on Reset All Pitches, and these pitches will go back to the initial state. One more thing, just speaking about these menus, let's just change this one. I love this loop reset, but when you randomize it, sometimes you have musical results, sometimes you don't. So if I randomize now, I'm actually liking this randomization. The feel that I get from that is the following. I like to start it from this slice, actually. So I can do this. Select Start Sequence from this articulation. So. Or I can start sequence from this articulation. I actually like it better. And if I just want to start from the first slice, I just press this. Start sequence from this articulation. I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it useful. Please leave comments if you want to know about other features and if there is anything that is not clear. I wish you a great day and thank you for watching. Bye bye.